sticking to my buy rating, and at 350, the stock looks more attractive, to be honest, because it's discounting my free cash flow estimate in 2021 by 25%, is what it's factoring in at this price. So I like this dip in the stock. I think, whether or not the text messages and what relevance it has to the long-term story, I'm not sure. But what Boeing's done going forward is it added an aerospace safety committee to the board. It created second, it created a product and services safety organization. And third, it elected Steve Calhoun as, who is the current lead director, to become non-executive chairman. So I do think they're taking safety measures going forward to change the way they certify aircraft, whether that's the MAX or the 777X.
Does Boeing need to extend out its guidance, its current official guidance that we were just talking about with Phil, for when 737 MAX is going to get back into the air and flying again?
Sure. So I think, you're seeing some guidance from the airline, Southwest extending a little bit, American into January. So that certainly seems like the MAX being certified by the end of the year is becoming more and more of a stretch, and entry into service more likely in Q1.
Got it. I wonder, we've had some earnings so far this week from some of the other aerospace players. Honeywell comes to mind, where it was 10% sales growth in Q3 year on year. I wonder how much you think the Boeing story, as we watch all of this unfold, is overshadowing the broader growth story that's taking place in aerospace and defense right now.
Sure. I think when you look at Honeywell, Morgan, its organic growth has been very good in aerospace. It's 40% of the Honeywell portfolio. It's really been what's driving the company's EPS beats and raises. But it's actually being driven by 40% of aerospace defense. That's growing double digits now for a few quarters. So that's really seen the benefit, while its aftermarket business is only growing 6%. So commercial OE and aftermarket have been quite subdued relative to what you're seeing in the defense market. That's really what's going on. And we're looking forward to big defense earnings next week with the contractors.
Your thoughts?
Sheila, it's Steve Weiss. I don't know if you officially follow Airbus or just do it because you follow Boeing. So I don't know if you have estimates now. But here's my question. Even if there were order cancellations at Boeing, because the airlines have lost faith, if you go over to Airbus, they've also got a very long backlog. So essentially, the new orders would have to go to the back of that backlog, which put them out years. As we saw the growth in airline travel, that's not a good option. So are you going to model in any losses in Boeing's order book? Because that's a question as an investor I'm very keyed on.
Sure. So we are modeling in some losses in the orders, that's for sure. The backlog's still 4,000 aircraft. What's kind of going overshadowed by this MAX news is that Airbus is actually under-delivering in Q3 on their A320neos, which is their competing aircraft to the MAX. So you are seeing clearly capacity cuts because the MAX isn't in the air, and the A320 is relatively under-delivering to its production target. So I think over the short term, what you're seeing is you're kind of seeing that capacity is being cut, and what impact that's having to air traffic, we're not quite sure. So we're doing a study of all aircraft travel across the globe, tracking 700,000 flights globally, and what the conclusion we came to is capacity is essentially being cut by 2%. So air traffic is globally being impacted 2% by narrow bodies being underproduced in the market today.